Yeah, he's a good guy.
I've been saying that.
But turns out, we're not so good.
Maybe when you grow up a little bit, you'll learn to communicate a little better.
You wanted a young husband. Deal with it. You know what? I wish we
You
never...
ever see someone's whole world flip in a single second? Laura's suitcase is still half zipped, her phone buzzing with missed calls, and she's standing in the hallway, blinking at the door that just slammed in her face. She's not crying yet, but you can see her jaw clench, her hands shaking, the shock settling in. One minute she's arguing with Beeran about something she thought was ancient history, the next she's out on the street, her name practically erased from the apartment she paid for. This isn't a breakup text or a cold shoulder. This is the kind of moment that makes you question everything you thought you knew about someone, and maybe about yourself too. Welcome to Reality Sport. I'm Oliva, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and drop your wildest relationship disaster in the comments. Because tonight, we're not just watching drama, we're living it. Now, before you start thinking Laura's some innocent victim or Beeran's a heartless villain, let's rewind. How did we get from cozy couple selfies to Laura dragging her suitcase down the hallway, mascara smudged and pride bruised? It started with a secret, the kind that festers in the dark and grows teeth. Laura thought she could keep her past with Michael. Yes, that Michael, Beeran's best friend, locked away. One drunken night, one almost kiss, and a decision to never mention it. She told herself it didn't matter, that it was before Beeran, that it was harmless. But secrets have a way of crawling out when you least expect them. And jealousy? Jealousy is never harmless. It's the third wheel that never leaves. The voice in your head that turns every laugh, every text, every sideways glance into a threat. Beeran isn't stupid. He's been watching Laura and Michael for weeks, clocking every inside joke, every lingering look. He asked more than once if there was something he should know. Laura always smiled, always said no, always changed the subject. But trust is like glass. Once it's cracked, you can't pretend it's whole. And when Michael finally spilled the truth, whether out of guilt or self-preservation or maybe just exhaustion, it was like lighting a match in a room full of gasoline. Suddenly, every late-night conversation, every unexplained tension, every time Laura hesitated before answering a question, it all made sense to Beeran. Or at least it made sense in the worst possible way. Now Laura's on the outside looking in, and Beeran's inside, pacing, replaying every moment, every word, every lie. He's not yelling anymore. He's gone quiet, which is somehow worse. You can almost hear the gears turning in his head, the calculations, the doubts, the anger simmering just below the surface. He's thinking about every promise Laura made, every time she swore she was being honest, every time he chose to believe her instead of his own gut. And Michael? Michael's not even in the room, but his presence is everywhere. He's the ghost in the apartment, the reason Laura's suitcase is in the hallway, the question mark hanging over everything. What's wild is how fast things can fall apart. One minute you're planning your future, the next you're blocked on WhatsApp and booking a hotel room with shaky hands. Laura's not used to losing. She's the kind of person who talks her way out of trouble, who flashes a smile and gets a second chance. But this time, the door didn't just close, it locked. And as she stands there, trying to decide whether to call a friend or just disappear, you can see the realization hit her. This isn't a fight she can win with words. This is the kind of betrayal that leaves scars, the kind that makes you question if you ever really knew the person sleeping next to you. But here's the thing. This isn't just about Laura and Beeran. Michael's shadow is long, and his motives are murky. Did he confess to clear his conscience, or was he tired of being the third wheel? Did he want to blow things up, or was he trying to save his friendship with Beeran? And what about Laura? Was she hiding the truth to protect Beeran, or to protect herself? The stakes aren't just about who sleeps where tonight. They're about trust, about loyalty, about the stories we tell ourselves to sleep at night. And as Laura stands in that hallway, suitcase in hand, you can feel the ground shifting under everyone's feet. What happens next isn't just going to change their relationship, it's going to change them. And if you think this is as bad as it gets, you haven't seen anything yet. It started with a couch, a bottle of cheap wine, and a moment Laura would replay in her head 100 times before the truth ever came out. The night was supposed to be harmless, just two friends blowing off steam after a long week. Michael was always the safe one, the guy who listened, who never crossed the line. But that night, the line blurred. Laura leaned in, maybe out of loneliness, maybe out of curiosity, maybe because she wanted to feel wanted. The kiss didn't land. Not really. Michael pulled away, awkward and surprised, and the moment fizzled into laughter and a promise to forget it ever happened. But Laura didn't forget. She tucked it away, convinced it was nothing, convinced it would never matter. But secrets have a way of growing teeth, especially when you try to bury them. Laura told herself it was ancient history, that it happened before Beeran, that it was just a blip on the radar. She convinced herself that if she never mentioned it, it would stay small, harmless, invisible. But every time Michael's name came up, every time Beeran asked about their friendship, Laura felt that old panic rise in her chest. She got good at dodging questions, at laughing things off, at changing the subject. She told herself she was protecting Beeran, sparing him unnecessary pain. But deep down, she knew she was protecting herself too. Meanwhile, Beeran wasn't blind. He noticed the way Laura and Michael seemed to share a language only they understood, the way they could finish each other's sentences, the way Laura's eyes flickered when Michael walked into the room. He tried to ignore it at first, chalking it up to old friends being close. But the doubts crept in, slow and steady, until they were impossible to ignore. He started asking questions, not because he wanted to catch Laura in a lie, but because he needed reassurance. He wanted to believe her, wanted to trust her. But every vague answer, every nervous laugh, every quick change of topic chipped away at his confidence. Michael, for his part, was stuck in the middle. He never wanted to be the wedge between his best friend and the woman his friend loved. He tried to act normal, to pretend nothing had happened. But the tension was always there, humming just beneath the surface. He watched Laura squirm under Beeran's questions, watched Beeran's patience wear thin, and felt the weight of the secret pressing down on all of them. Michael knew he was holding a grenade, and every day he didn't say something, the pin felt a little looser. Was it just a mistake, a drunken lapse in judgment, or was there something more between Laura and Michael? Did Laura keep it quiet because she was ashamed, or because she was afraid of what it might mean? And what about Beeran? Was he really as innocent as he seemed, or was he hiding something too? In relationships, the truth is rarely simple, and everyone has something they're not saying out loud. Why do people hide the truth from the ones they love? Sometimes it's fear. Fear of hurting someone, fear of losing what you have, fear of facing the consequences. Sometimes it's pride, or shame, or the hope that if you ignore a problem long enough, it will disappear. But secrets are never neutral. They change the way you look at someone, the way you look at yourself. They turn every conversation into a minefield, every silence into a question. The pressure kept building until finally, Michael couldn't take it anymore. Maybe he was tired of lying, maybe he wanted to clear his conscience, or maybe he just wanted the tension to end, no matter the cost. One night, when Beeran pressed him for the truth, Michael let it slip. He told Beeran about the kiss, about Laura's decision to keep it quiet, about the promise they made to never speak of it again. But even as the words left his mouth, Michael's motives weren't clear. Was he trying to do the right thing, or was he trying to blow everything up? And as the secret finally came out, the fallout was only just beginning. The air in the apartment is thick, heavy, almost electric. Beeran stands in the doorway, arms crossed, eyes locked on Laura like he's searching for a crack in her armor. Laura's voice is steady at first, but her hands betray her, fidgeting with the hem of her shirt, twisting her ring, anything to keep from meeting his gaze. Beeran doesn't yell. He doesn't need to. His silence is louder than any accusation, and Laura feels every second of it pressing down on her. When he finally speaks, his words are sharp, clipped, each one landing like a punch. He asks her, point blank, why she lied, why she let him worry about Michael for weeks, months, while she sat on a secret that could blow up everything they'd built. Laura tries to laugh it off, to shrink the moment down to something small, something harmless. She tells him it was nothing, a stupid mistake, a blip in the past that means less than nothing now. She says she didn't want to hurt him, that she thought it would only make things worse. But Beeran isn't buying it. He's heard enough excuses, enough half-truths, enough stories that don't quite add up. He tells her trust isn't something you get to ration out, that honesty isn't optional when you're building a life with someone. Laura's face flushes with anger, then fear, then something like regret. She tries to turn it back on him, to remind him of the things he's kept from her, the secrets he's confessed only when cornered. But Beeran shakes his head, unmoved. He says the difference is, he told her the truth. She only told him when she had no other choice. Accusations start flying, fast and hot. Laura says he's always been jealous, always looking for a reason to doubt her, always suspicious of her friendships. Beeran fires back that she's always been too close to Michael, too quick to defend him, too eager to keep their bond a secret. The fight spirals, each of them digging in, neither willing to give an inch. Laura's voice rises, desperate now, pleading for him to see reason, to believe her when she says it meant nothing. Beeran's voice stays low, cold, final. He says he can't trust her. Not now, maybe not ever. Jealousy is a poison, but it's also a mirror. It shows you the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore, the insecurities, the fears, the doubts you try to bury. For Beeran, jealousy isn't just about Laura and Michael. It's about every time he's felt second best, every time he's wondered if he was enough. For Laura, it's about control, about keeping her world from spinning out of orbit, about holding on to the version of herself she wants to believe in. When trust breaks, it's not just the relationship that suffers. It's your sense of self, your confidence, your ability to believe in your own judgment. If you've ever been in a fight like this, you know how quickly things can go from bad to worse. One minute you're arguing about a kiss, the next you're dredging up every old wound, every past mistake, every insecurity you've ever had. It's messy, it's painful, and it rarely ends with a neat resolution. Sometimes, the only thing left to do is walk away. So is Beeran overreacting, or is Laura gaslighting him? Is he justified in his anger, or is he letting his jealousy cloud his judgment? Is Laura truly sorry, or is she just sorry she got caught? The truth is, both of them are hurting, both of them are scared, and neither of them knows how to fix what's been broken. Laura grabs her bag, her keys, her phone, and storms out, slamming the door behind her. The apartment feels emptier than ever, the silence ringing in Beeran's ears. Outside, Laura stands on the curb, blinking back tears, unsure where to go or who to call. And somewhere, not far away, Michael is waiting, caught between loyalty and guilt, wondering if he's about to lose both his best friend and the woman he never meant to hurt. Laura's footsteps echo down the hotel hallway, her anger barely contained, her mind racing with every possible explanation for how her secret got out. She doesn't knock. She pounds on Michael's door, jaw set, eyes blazing. The second he opens it, she's already demanding answers, her voice sharp, accusing, desperate. She wants to know why he told Beeran, why he couldn't keep his mouth shut, why he chose now of all times to blow up her life. Michael's face falls, guilt and frustration flickering across his features. He tries to explain, to tell her that Beeran wouldn't let it go, that he was relentless, that the truth was clawing its way out whether Michael wanted it to or not. But Laura isn't having it. She accuses him of sabotage, of wanting to ruin her relationship, of being jealous, of never really being her friend. She throws every accusation she can think of, her words tumbling over each other, her pain spilling out in every syllable. Michael stands his ground, but his voice is softer, steadier. He says he didn't want to hurt anyone, that he was tired of lying, that he thought the truth would set things right. But is he telling the whole truth? Or is he hiding behind good intentions, hoping to come out looking like the hero instead of the villain? It's easy to see both sides, but impossible to know who's right. Is Laura playing the victim, refusing to take responsibility for her own choices, blaming Michael because it's easier than facing what she's done? Or is Michael stirring the pot, using honesty as a weapon, forcing a confrontation he secretly wanted all along? The lines blur, the roles shift, and suddenly nothing feels certain anymore. Laura's anger fades, replaced by something heavier, regret, loneliness, the sinking realization that she's more alone than she's ever been. She looks at Michael, searching his face for some sign of comfort, some hint that things can go back to the way they were. But Michael's loyalty is split down the middle, torn between his best friend and the woman who almost changed everything. He wants to help, but he doesn't know how. He wants to fix things, but he's not sure they can be fixed. The room feels smaller, the air thick with everything left unsaid. Laura sits on the edge of the bed, her shoulders slumped, her hands trembling. She wonders if she's lost Beeran for good, if Michael will ever forgive her, if she'll ever forgive herself. The weight of her choices presses down on her, and for the first time, she can't talk her way out of it. She can't charm or joke or rationalize her way back to safety. She's alone, and she knows it. Michael watches her, his own guilt gnawing at him. He wants to reach out, to say something that will make it better, but the words stick in his throat. He's caught in the crossfire, collateral damage in a war he never wanted to fight. His loyalty to Beeran is real, but so is his care for Laura. He wonders if he did the right thing, or if he's only made everything worse. Laura's eyes fill with tears, but she blinks them away, refusing to let Michael see her break. She stands, gathering her things, her voice barely above a whisper as she admits she might lose both of them. The realization hits her like a punch. She's not just losing a boyfriend or a friend. She's losing her safety net, her confidant, her sense of belonging. And as she walks out of Michael's room, the door clicking shut behind her, she knows nothing will ever be the same again. Beeran sits alone in the dim light of the apartment, scrolling through old messages, replaying every conversation with Laura in his mind. His phone buzzes with her name, but he lets it ring, jaw clenched, eyes fixed on the wall. Is he really this hurt? Or is he savoring the upper hand for the first time in their relationship? For months, Laura was the one with the answers, the one who set the tone, the one who always seemed to know more than she let on. Now, with the truth out and the balance shifted, Beeran holds the power, and he knows it. He's not rushing to forgive, not eager to talk, not ready to let Laura back in. Instead, he's making her wait, making her sweat, making her feel the sting of being on the outside. Laura's anger from earlier has faded into something rawer, more desperate. She calls, she texts, she even comes back to the apartment hoping for a face-to-face conversation, hoping she can explain, hoping she can fix what's broken. But Beeran doesn't answer the door. He doesn't even look through the peephole. He wants her to feel what he felt, helpless, confused, shut out. Laura stands in the hallway, her voice cracking as she leaves another voicemail, apologizing, begging for a chance to talk, promising that she'll do anything to make it right. But the silence on the other side of the door is louder than any argument they've ever had. The power dynamics have flipped, and both of them know it. Laura, who once controlled the narrative, is now at Beeran's mercy. Beeran, who always felt one step behind, is now calling the shots. It's a dangerous game, and neither of them is sure how far they're willing to go. Is Beeran using this moment to punish Laura, to make her pay for every slight, every secret, every time she made him feel small? Or is he genuinely hurt, struggling to process the betrayal, unsure if he can ever trust her again? The line between pain and power is thin, and it's getting thinner by the minute. Laura's desperation grows with every unanswered call, every ignored message. She starts to wonder if Beeran ever really loved her, or if he's been waiting for a reason to push her away. She questions her own motives too. Was she protecting him or protecting herself? Was she honest about her feelings, or was she playing a part, hoping to keep everyone happy while keeping the truth buried? The more she thinks about it, the less sure she becomes. Who's manipulating whom, and who's about to snap? Is Beeran dragging this out to get what he wants, or is Laura trying to rewrite the story to make herself look better? The tension is thick, the stakes are high, and neither of them is willing to back down. Every move feels calculated, every word loaded, every silence a test. Then, the final blow lands. Beeran tells Laura she can't stay in the apartment anymore. Not tonight, not ever. It doesn't matter that her name is on the lease, or that she paid the deposit, or that she has nowhere else to go. He wants her gone, and he's not budging. Laura stands in the doorway, suitcase in hand, tears streaming down her face as Beeran closes the door behind her. The hallway feels colder, the world smaller, and for the first time, Laura realizes she's truly on her own. Laura drags her suitcase through the city, the wheels rattling over every crack in the sidewalk, her mind racing with what-ifs and regrets. She scrolls through hotel apps with trembling fingers, barely seeing the screen through the blur of tears. Every room she clicks feels like another reminder that she's not going home tonight, that the place she thought was safe is now off limits. She checks in with a forced smile, nodding at the receptionist, pretending she's just another traveler and not someone whose life has been ripped out from under her. Alone in the sterile hotel room, she sits on the edge of the bed, staring at her phone, waiting for a message that doesn't come. The silence is deafening, broken only by the hum of the air conditioner and the occasional ping of a notification she's too scared to check. Beeran, meanwhile, sits in the apartment, his face set in stone. He tells himself he's doing the right thing, that Laura needs to learn there are consequences for lying, that trust isn't something you can rebuild with a single apology. He replays the fight in his head, picking apart every word, every look, every moment he doubted himself. He wants to feel strong, in control, but underneath the anger is a hollow ache, a sense of loss he can't shake. He wonders if he's gone too far, if shutting Laura out is punishment or self-preservation. He tells himself it's logic, not spite, that he's protecting himself from more pain. But the apartment feels emptier than ever, and the victory tastes bitter. Michael's phone lights up with Laura's name, and for a moment, he hesitates. He knows she's hurting, knows she's looking for comfort, for someone to tell her she's not the villain in this story. When he finally answers, his voice is gentle, careful, as if he's afraid she might break. He listens as Laura pours out her heart, her voice raw with regret and fear. Michael doesn't offer easy answers. Instead, he tells her the one thing she hasn't wanted to hear. Acknowledge Beeran's feelings. Admit you hurt him. Stop trying to spin the story. Stop trying to make it smaller than it is. Michael's advice is simple, but it lands hard. Laura realizes she spent so much time defending herself, she never stopped to see the pain she caused. Pride and stubbornness are expensive in relationships. They cost you peace, connection, sometimes even love. Laura's pride kept her from telling the truth, from admitting she was wrong, from reaching out before things exploded. Beeran's stubbornness keeps him locked in his anger, unwilling to let Laura back in even as he misses her. Both of them are trapped by their own need to be right, to win, to protect themselves from the vulnerability that comes with forgiveness. Laura stares at her phone, weighing her options. She could let it go, start over somewhere new, pretend this was just another failed relationship. But she can't. Not yet. She dials Beeran's number, her heart pounding, her breath shallow. The phone rings once, twice, 3 times. She closes her eyes, waiting, hoping, desperate for a sign that there's still a chance, that the door isn't completely closed. The line clicks, and for a split second, Laura holds her breath, wondering if Beeran will pick up or let her fade into the silence. Beeran sits in the dark, the glow of his phone screen the only light in the room, scrolling through old photos of him and Laura, their smiles frozen in time. He wonders if he's being honest with himself or if he's milking the pain for all it's worth. Is he really this hurt? Or is there a part of him that likes having the upper hand for once? He replays Laura's apologies in his mind, the way her voice cracked, the way she begged for another chance. He tells himself he's protecting his heart, but there's a nagging voice that asks if he's also protecting his pride. Maybe he's dragging this out because it feels good to be the one in control, to make Laura feel what he felt all those times she kept him guessing. But then the guilt creeps in, and he wonders if he's punishing her or punishing himself. Laura lies awake in her hotel bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying every decision that led her here. She wonders if she sabotaged her own happiness, if she let fear and pride get in the way of something real. She thinks about the night with Michael, about the secret she kept, about the way she tried to minimize it, hoping it would disappear. She asks herself if she ever really believed it was harmless, or if she always knew it would come back to haunt her. Laura's mind races with questions she can't answer. Did she push Beeran away on purpose? Was she afraid of getting too close, of being vulnerable, of letting someone see the parts of her she tries to hide? She wonders if she's lost him for good, if she deserves to. Michael sits alone, his phone buzzing with messages he doesn't want to read. He tells himself he's done the right thing, that honesty was the only way forward, but he can't shake the feeling that he's lost both his best friend and the woman he once thought he could love. His feelings for Laura are a mess, part friendship, part guilt, part something he can't quite name. He wonders if he's really just a friend, or if there's a part of him that wanted this chaos, that wanted Laura to choose, that wanted Beeran out of the picture. Michael's loyalty is split, and he's not sure where he stands anymore. What if the real betrayal hasn't even come out yet? What if there's more to the story? More secrets waiting to surface, more pain waiting to be uncovered? Trust is fragile, and once it's broken, every doubt, every suspicion, every unanswered question becomes a wedge that drives people further apart. Laura's next move could change everything. She could fight for Beeran, confess everything, lay her heart on the line, or she could walk away, start over, leave the past behind. The choice is hers, but whatever she decides, nothing will ever be the same. Laura stands outside the apartment, her hand hovering over the doorbell, her heart pounding so loud she's sure the neighbors can hear it. She's rehearsed what she'll say 100 times, but now, with the moment staring her in the face, every word feels wrong. She presses the button anyway, and when Beeran opens the door, the tension is instant, thick enough to choke on. He doesn't invite her in, just stands there, arms crossed, eyes wary, waiting for her to make the first move. Laura's voice is shaky but determined as she apologizes, not just for the secret, but for every time she made him doubt himself, for every moment she let her pride get in the way of honesty. She tells him she's sorry for hurting him, for making him feel small, for not trusting him enough to tell the truth from the start. Beeran listens, his face unreadable, his jaw clenched. He fires back with his own accusations, his own pain. He tells her how it felt to be lied to be made to feel crazy for asking questions, to be left in the dark while she and Michael shared a world he could never enter. He says he doesn't know if he can ever trust her again, if he can ever believe anything she says. The words hang in the air, heavy and final, and for a moment, it seems like there's nothing left to say. Then Michael shows up, caught in the crossfire, trying to play peacemaker. He says he never wanted to come between them, that he only told the truth because he couldn't stand the lies anymore. He tries to get them to see each other's pain, to remember what they had before everything fell apart. But his presence only makes things more complicated, his attempts at mediation landing somewhere between helpful and meddling. Beeran bristles at Michael's involvement, accusing him of stirring the pot, of wanting Laura for himself. Laura snaps back, telling Beeran he's being paranoid, that Michael is only trying to help. The argument spirals, voices rising, old wounds reopening. Laura pleads for another chance, promising to be better, to be honest, to rebuild what they lost. Beeran hesitates, torn between the love he still feels and the hurt that won't let him move on. Michael stands by, helpless, watching two people he cares about tear each other apart, knowing there's nothing he can say to fix it. The emotional crescendo builds, each of them forced to confront their own role in the mess. Will anyone take responsibility, or will pride win out in the end? Laura's eyes fill with tears as she begs Beeran to believe in them one more time. Beeran's voice cracks as he admits he doesn't know if he can. Michael looks away, guilt etched on his face, wishing he could disappear. The silence that follows is deafening, the weight of everything unsaid pressing down on all three of them. The relationship hangs by a thread, stretched to its breaking point, and no one knows if it will hold or snap. The door closes with a soft click, but the echoes linger long after Laura and Beeran's voices have faded. Laura stands in the hallway, shoulders slumped, her face streaked with tears she's too tired to wipe away. She doesn't know if she's lost everything or if there's still a sliver of hope, but right now, all she feels is the emptiness that comes after the storm. Beeran sits on the other side of the door, head in his hands, the weight of his own words pressing down on him. He wanted to be strong, to protect himself, but now he's left with nothing but silence and the ache of what might have been. Michael walks away alone, his role as mediator leaving him with no one to comfort and no comfort for himself. 3 people, 3 broken hearts, and a mess that no one knows how to clean up. In the quiet aftermath, the lessons hit hard. Trust isn't something you can rebuild overnight, and honesty isn't always easy, especially when the truth hurts. Laura's secret started small, but it grew every time she chose silence over confession, every time she let fear win over courage. Beeran's jealousy didn't come from nowhere, it was fed by every unanswered question, every moment he felt shut out. Michael's honesty, while well-intentioned, came too late to save anyone from the fallout. If there's one thing to take away from this mess, it's that self-respect means knowing when to fight for forgiveness and when to walk away, even if it hurts. Think back to every moment that led here, the hidden kiss, the dodged questions, the late-night confessions, the slammed doors. Every choice was a seed, and now everyone is living with the harvest. Laura's need to control the story cost her the trust she craved. Beeran's refusal to let go of his pride left him lonelier than ever. Michael's attempt to do the right thing left him with nothing but regret. The payoff isn't a happy ending, but a hard lesson about what happens when you let fear and pride drive your decisions. What would you do in Laura's shoes? Would you fight for a second chance, or would you accept that some mistakes can't be fixed? Would you forgive, or would you walk away? The answers aren't easy, and maybe that's the point. Relationships are messy, and sometimes the only way forward is through the pain. But just when you think the story is over, a new message pops up on Laura's phone. It's not from Beeran or Michael, but from someone she never expected to hear from again. The words are simple, but the meaning is anything but. Suddenly, the past isn't finished with her yet, and the next chapter is about to begin. If you thought this was the end, you're in for a surprise, because the real drama is only getting started. Laura stares at her phone, the new message lighting up her screen, her breath catching as she reads the name she thought she'd left behind. Her hands tremble, not from anger or heartbreak this time, but from a rush of questions she can't answer. Is this a chance for closure, or the start of a whole new mess? Across town, Beeran sits in silence, unaware that another twist is about to pull him back into the chaos he thought he'd escaped. Michael, too, feels the ripple, sensing that the story isn't finished, that the fallout from one secret might only be the beginning. If you thought Laura's world was already upside down, wait until you see who's reaching out now and what they want. Old wounds, new faces, and a decision that could change everything for everyone. You won't want to miss what happens when the past refuses to stay buried. Stick around, because the next episode is about to take this drama to a whole new level.